but he's thinking about how they relate to nationalism. So the nation is still somehow the centre of the whole project, even though he's looking at parts of China and groups in China that may not be included in the nation. So I don't think it's particularly useful to you. However, I mentioned it because it does highlight that it brought, for Chinese historians who are used to a national history, very used to a national history, it really highlighted the need to look at local histories and groups that were not included. But the problem is when these national histories become the history. And if you look at our history, we called it a history of Malaysia, not the history of Malaysia. And we didn't say a national history of Malaysia, it was just a history of Malaysia. So there's plenty of room. Think how many books have been written about the French Revolution. So there's plenty of room for other histories. So there is a need for alternative history. There is a need for a people-oriented history, but how that would be processed and what it would look like, and could it possibly be a traditional book, or is it some other medium, really raises questions. So I wanted to think of just to kind of alert you. So any historian knows you have to see things from other people's perspectives. So let's think, for example, about how states see history, how governments see history. Why do they, and all governments, particularly in countries where in nation building, and I have this quote from King Chulalongkorn from the early 20th century, when he called all the historians together in a room, not like this, but called them all together, and he said, we need a history. You have to give us a history that will make everybody love the country, make us all united. That's why history is useful for him as a king. It would bring people together. But even Sujat Moko, great scholar in Indonesia, in 1965, so that was a very telling year for the Indonesian. So he said, history is an important means of training good citizens and developing love and loyalty for the country. So that's one of the ways that other countries have seen history. But all of you know, of course, about the Historians' Council, which has just been launched this past September.